So this is part 3 of my ramblings again. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning, still Thursday the 5th of February 2026. Look, I am not a guru of anything. I know some things, okay? And other things I'm reaching on. And yes, when I first started part 1, it was going after political. It was going after Johnson and his mouth and everything else going on. And trying to explain things in a biblical sense that as much as I understand. I'm not educated. I'm not lettered into theology of any sort. I was raised a Methodist. But the online training was supposed to be reading certain things in the Bible, or actually all of the Bible, and I'm not familiar with everything in the Bible. It's a good book, it's intense. The Old Testament's really out there. But the New Testament is about behavior modification of us inside. And how we think, how we feel, how we act towards everybody. And it gives us the choice to do so. I am not going to be consigned to somebody else's Christian nationalists or any other kind of political crap going on through their heads, what their viewpoints are supposed to be, because it's called assimilation. If I'm going to be speaking to Speaker Mike Johnson again, study your fucking U.S. history and understand why we were here in the first place. We have a lot of dark things happening here that's being rewritten by you assholes in the Trump administration of what we did to get to our point right now. I ain't celebrating 250 years with you assholes in there. But if I'm going to be selling 250 years, it's because we had something we had to do a long time ago. Now, granted, as I said before, we fight over two things: resources and our own egos. Doesn't matter if it's religious. It doesn't matter if it's political. It's us. It's ego. Deal with it. You can call it any which way you want. The United States was being formed. We had colonies. We had different countries forming their own little communities, but still based under the 13. Now, England was one of the primaries. We had France. We had Dutch. We had German. We had Spanish. We had a varied mixture of religious viewpoints, of political viewpoints. But we had one major asshole to deal with. England, who had the security, who had the troops all over the place, who had the navies. It kept the colonies locked down and taxed beyond everything else. No taxation without representation. Does that ring a bell in your history courses? If you ain't got a live body in Parliament at this point over here to represent the colonies, we were non-existent. We were just somebody to pillage, pilfer, and plunder. We had enough of England, of them using our homes, of arresting us for whatever reasons. Gee, sounds like today. We have to keep remembering history like this because it is happening on a constant basis. And people keep forgetting about this damn crap all the damn time. They don't care. They don't care. I care what happens. I care what happens to my people. I care what happens to my own life. What's been happening right now as it is. We fought a bloody revolution. We didn't want to. We wanted to end it peaceably, amicably. We wanted to have good relations with England, even with trade. George and the Parliament said on that one. So we said, it's war. Somebody fired a shot and all hell broke loose. But in a nutshell, we fought for years until we gained independence. It took us a little bit more years to get the Constitution. Actually, the Articles of Confederation signed where that fell apart. All the power to the states, not much to the federal, but we still needed power for the federal. For me, that's one of the reasons why the Confederacy lost, because power was loose, not consolidated. We consolidated into federalism, but we made sure that the states had their own implied powers. That includes how to control leadership, their own leadership, as well as elections for a national leader. We had our differences in our country. We still weren't solidified. You can look at it in different ways for the Civil War that we had in 1860. But at least during that time, we didn't have to fight any other country except ourselves. And keeps trying to scrounge for more territory out of the land, pushing the others aside, the indigenous. We have our dark histories. We have a dark history of how we did this European manifest on everybody. Manifest destiny. We are here now trying to deal with those consequences. And the thing that people keep forgetting is each pebble that we lay on the road, our experiences, hopes, fears, everything else, it keeps building upon, leads us to a point in time. Well, right now we're at a point in time. We look back on the road of the experiences, mistakes, and not so much mistakes, the choices, decisions made. Our next step is to build another one to the future. The past does affect the present, which affects the future. And the future is affected by the past. So, Johnson is an idiot. He's stuck. He thinks everything's religious. Everything's biblical. No, everything's human. We may have invented, in one form or fashion, religion. We needed something to believe in. And the thing is, we need to have a basis for that. We need to have a spiritual foundation for that one. We need to feel if we were connected to something like the force of nature, to the force of the universe. Whatever created it, probably inside of ourselves. Not just the science and the subatomics and quantum physics. No. Maybe to an underlying intelligence to all the universe. But I'm not going to be using it as an excuse for our own behaviors. We are still responsible for our own behaviors, our own actions, our own thoughts, our own feelings. I am not saying this because I am pushing the theories down your throat. I'm saying it because what I'm observing and what I'm learning these days, and I'm sharing this information. That's not just out of ego where I might get a box boost and I want. No, I'm not doing this at all. Because I'm trying to correct the information that I'm seeing there, and I'm trying to fix different viewpoints that I'm seeing. And I want my own viewpoint to reflect what everybody else is. There cannot be just one absolute. Our country was made out of differences. Different religions, different theologies, different beliefs, differences. We weren't homogenized, we weren't assimilated. We weren't blended into one damn bland thing. Every one of our differences made something and made a contribution. It is our choices, our decisions that kept growing our country. Our cultural differences made us unique, we thought. Unfortunately, we held on to those beliefs for a hell of a long while that we're now conflicted by it. Differences are now non-compliant, are no longer part of us anymore. Did we have to be homogenized? Fuck homogenized. I grew up in a culture of differences. I grew up in a culture where things mattered. If Christ was here and seeing this, if Christ was seeing the differences of humanity right now in mortal form, he was not pushing for solidarity. He was not pushing for homogenized. He expanded and loved differences. He loved seeing different people. Different cultures, different sharings of ideas, different thoughts being shared. At least that's how I feel. That's how I'm thinking. That's how I'm understanding this. I kept asking myself when they said the story in the Old Testament about the story of Babel, that we all wanted a tower. I could never quite understand the reason why, if we were so different from different places and we spoke the same language, which made it common for us to get along with each other, learning each other's language, but learning one language. Why were we different? Why were we struck down differently? I never could quite understand the story of that. If God wanted differences, He made differences in the Garden of Eden. But He made two people. Were they white? Were they dark skinned? What were they? And yet they were cast out. We kept looking at them as Anglo-Saxons, as white-skinned. Who's to say they weren't dark-skinned? We had evidence back in Africa, in the big continent of Africa, that we had earlier tribes coming out and spreading out throughout the lands. And it took generations after generations of acclimating to different climates, of how their skins, tones, textures, everything changed. Intensity was great in Africa, but lightened up in different altitudes, different landscapes, different versions of how humans had to evolve, adjust. Why was the Tower of Babel so important? That there had to be differences all over the place. God liked variety. If there was a lot of variety, then why the language shift? I never could quite understand how. Maybe I could try getting it back into the story again just to understand what the hell we're talking about. But considering what we have right now, it's like diversity, equality, inclusiveness is being shunted. It's being tossed out. You're either with us or you're against us. The polarization. The building of an empire again. Building of empires. I suppose if God was going to be gathering, or actually if Jesus was going to be gathering, I'd probably head over to the goats. But why? It's not because of you, it's because of me and everybody else that chose this damn shit in the first place. We wanted to be unique individuals. We wanted to be egomaniacs at this point over here. We thought we were better than everybody else. We got our own little ant hills that we build upon our mounds. Gets constantly stepped on by everybody else. We fight. We don't fight for your glory. We fight for our own damn egos and we'll fight for our own resources. This is the curse of humanity at this point, of survival. One way or another. It's always about survival. It's never about homogeny. It's never about community. It's never about accepting differences left and right. It's always about the fucking ego that has to be proven better than everybody else's. My ego has to be above yours because I say so. And you will do what I say because I said so. Or else I'm going to be stomping around like a damn toddler brain, screaming and yelling at people left and right. And you know what I look at the goats? The Christ's representation? We're all damn toddler brains that don't know our ass from a hot rock, even though we had our asses kicked so many damn times. But we think we're better than everybody else, including Christ. We want to be the epitome of Him. We want a kingdom. Problem is, what Christ was asking about is something we could not do because of our own damn egos. Our own damn survival or our own damn insanity. We're fighting over trickles of water. Maybe a few grains have still survived. Maybe a landscape that hasn't been ruined. We don't know our ass from a hot rock. We get beaten by it, whipped by it, chained by it, enslaved by it, caged by it. Do we know any better? We're so much of a beaten people, it's not even funny. We look at the shinings, and we don't recognize them either as fool's gold or are they the actual thing. Of course, we would probably hear it, or booming across the sky saying, "How dare you? Do you not understand?" And I guess we would probably say to that voice, "No, we don't know any better, despite the fact we were taught differently. We were taught to be power mad hungry at this point over here, dictated to people. This is what Christ would have wanted. This is what Christ would have wanted. This is what Allah would have wanted. This is what fill in the blank would have wanted." And the only thing that comes up in my head all the damn time is ego. How could I not make Christ understand that the human insanity that we have here, concerned about the ego, wants everything? We're a toddler brain that doesn't pay attention to the lessons needed to guide its own growth. Because we're pounding on the ground. We want it now. We want it now. Now. And then when we get it, we're not satisfied with it. Why? Because our own damn ego wants more and more and more and more and more. And we think we know better, and we judge people on that one. And we get into wars with it. And as I say before to Christ, we fight for two things. It's not about you. It's about resources in the mortal realm and about our own damn head games. Our own damn egos that matter more. God could show us the universe at this point. And we would look at it and say, it's ours, it's mine. The empire of the ego will rule supreme. We don't get it. Are we equipped to get it? To understand? There's a lot more than our petty needs, our petty power grabs, our petty power pity potties that we're doing. Potties or parties? We don't get it. We don't want to get it. And if we got it, we still don't want it. Because it's not what our screwed up head thinking tells us. But where's it coming from that we're getting these kind of negative ideas? The reason why Christ came down and talked to us, did the Beatitudes on us, Sermon of the Mount, explained it to them in their own language, and it took us generations to get it into our own language, what he was trying to talk about. And we still don't get it. We still don't understand it. We refuse to get it. Because if we did, we wouldn't be putting ourselves in a situation. Oh, we have to be royal, we have to be right, we have to be. It's like times like that. Either I'll look and walk away, or else I'll be doing something that earns me metal bracelets. Just to shut them up. And say, your version sucks. My version. Mine. Shut up already. This is our world. This is our story. How can I justify any of this to God? How can I justify this to Jesus at this point? I'm supposed to be a Christian, right? I'm supposed to be a follower of Christ. And always the Garden of Gethsemane hits hard. Because we're looking at the Roman Empire that we built out of our own selfishness, our own need for resources, our own need to feed the ego, to be forced upon everybody else. It's not just a sword. Replace it with something else. And that is what we're facing. At least in my interpretation of it anyway. That being said.